Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the TMZ Podcast. I'm Charlie Cotton and today I'm joined by Eric
Colley.
Yeah. Eric Colley. Sorry, Eric.
That's all right.
Our resident music expert for our musical stories today.
Right.
We've got Jason Aldean. His song, Try That in a Small Town, has rocketed up the charts.
This is the biggest thing going on in music right now. The song debuted at number 2 this week, not on the country charts, on the overall Billboard singles charts. It is almost certainly going to be number 1 next week because it's just been so big for over a week now. Controversy is what did it.
It's a big song. We're also going to talk about an update to Ariana Grande and her new boyfriend, Ethan Slater.
Right.
And finally, Neo looks like he's in a new relationship or relationships at the same time with 2 women. We'll discuss that a little later. But to our biggest story, Jason Aldean. Some may say he's caved to a bit of pressure and removed some of the imagery in his Try That in a Small Town music video clip. He was criticized for being, some people said it was pro-lynching, but it was definitely very controversial, him using these Black Lives Matter images on a building where there was historically a lot of racism.
There was a lynching in front of that building 100 years ago. It was a courthouse in Tennessee. So that's the thing. The song came out back in May, and there was no controversy. A lot of people had not heard of this song. It was doing okay on country radio.
Right.
Typical Jason Aldean song. The video comes out, and the message of the song, everybody knows it's about, it's like we're against crime in a small town. If you try that here, see how far you get, basically. It's sort of little threatening, but whatever. But the video is where it showed a lot of Black Lives Matter footage, and people are like, oh, this is a racist video, and it's basically saying, don't try and support black people, don't be black in a small town. That's how it was taken by a lot of people. And then people on the right were like, no, and then they rushed to support Jason. They started buying the song, streaming it. Now it's going to be number 1. But now they've taken that footage out of the video, and you're right, is this him caving a bit? Is it just trying to smooth things out? Because now he's number 1, but it's probably not going to last very long because we know this kind of controversy lasts about a week or 2 and then people move on.
Right.
He wants this to be a legit, long-lasting hit.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you get your message out, you get the attention, then the thing that got the attention, maybe you take that away to try and get other people back on board.
It also makes people listen or watch the song again, which adds to the numbers.
You want to see what's different.
What's different? And what is different, it's 6 seconds shorter. They've removed a couple of images from the Black Lives Matter protests that were projected on that building. And they've removed some other stuff about a man from a small town talking about small town ideals.
There's an interview at the end of the video they cut out.
But it's 6 seconds shorter. Everyone's going to watch it again to see how it's different. As you said, this is number 2 on the charts now. Going to go to number 1.
Right.
Is this the best thing that could have happened to this guy?
Absolutely it is. Of course it is. And Jason Aldean also is not a new artist. He is a big star. He's had a lot of huge hits. It's funny, his only other top 10 on the pop chart was a song with Ludacris.
Uh-huh.
So that's what got that in the top 10.
That's funny.
But he's almost 20 years into his career at this point. And everybody starts to slow down a bit. His songs are still big, but not as big as they used to be. And so you need something to get attention.
Right. Do you think any of this, it's worked out so well, do you think any of it was sort of premeditated or planned?
It almost has to be, right?
You think he wanted the controversy of maybe he didn't want that term, he's pro-lynching.
No, I don't think, but that's the thing. He was accused of it, and that's what he said in his statements. He's like, I've been accused of these things that I am not. And then he's like, we saw him on stage this week doing the song, and he says, cancel culture's a real thing. Yeah, canceled. He's number 1. So I don't see how canceled he is. But that's the thing. When you rile up people on either side, but particularly on the right, they will come out to defend and we got to support because we don't like people being canceled.
Yes.
Unless it's Bud Light or Target or the Chicks or whatever they don't like.
Right.
But so now he's ridden that and gotten the biggest hit of his career.
That's crazy.
And I think we're going to see a whole lot more people doing this.
Oh, you think?
Why wouldn't you?
You think there's going to be more people coming out with sort of coded yet, are they saying it? Are they not saying it?
Right, because if you're too obvious about it, then you are just canceled.
Right.
But if you're like, it's just a song about, not liking crime in a small town, what's wrong with that?
Right.
Well, then you can defend that position. But I think the Black Lives Matter footage in the video is what was the line for people. Well, now they've taken that out. So what is there to complain about?
Whoever made this video, diabolical genius. Like, the amount of controversy and just the press that this song has got. Like, I wouldn't consider myself a country fan. I knew of Jason Aldean, obviously, because he's a big
massive. Star.
He's a big star. But I can't say I've ever listened, and sat down and listened to any of his songs.
Right.
But now I have, and now I'm familiar with him. And then next time he comes out with maybe even a less controversial song, I'll probably listen to it too because I'm familiar with him.
And a lot of people like this song. Just like musically, I just like it. Like, it's not an off-putting song in that sense, but it's worked for him. And of course they knew that, because if the whole point of the thing is just, we just don't like people being abusive to cops, well, then where's the January 6th footage where they beat cops with the American flagpole?
Right.
Of course that footage is not in the video.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
That's a good point, because they're on the same side as a lot of the people who are listening and appreciating the song.
That's right. It's honestly, that's the thing. Whether you agree with Jason Aldean, whether you think he's a racist, whether you think anything, it's a brilliant marketing move.
It is. It really is.
He's got a number one song now.
And I think it's interesting how you said that it might be a blueprint for, up and coming or other big stars to sort of like propel how do I get media attention on this song I'm putting out? You have to have some sort of like fight or contention over,
Well, even like looking at, in politics, Trump's whole way of doing things, the name calling and all that stuff that makes people love him or hate him or whatever. How many politicians have we now seen doing that?
Right.
How many senators and governors and wannabe presidents are doing that same thing? Because it works.
Yeah.
And we'll see more of this.
It certainly does, Eric, you music nerd.
I'm all kinds of a nerd. I'm not just a music nerd.
If you think he's a nerd, reply in the comments.
Hey!
Share it with your friends. Ask them if they think he's a nerd.
What is this?
This is me trying to drum up some sort of controversy. All right, today's episode is sponsored by CEREBRAL. CEREBRAL offers affordable plans and is available with or without insurance. If you need to manage your stress or anxiety, or you're looking to prioritize your well-being, CEREBRAL's clinicians are here for you. You take a quick questionnaire about what you're looking for, and you'll receive personalized care team recommendations based off your needs and preferences. And listeners of the TMZ podcast will receive access to a CEREBRAL Strong Start multi-month package and save up to $160. Let's do this together. Make a strong start to a better you. Get started at cerebral.com/TMZ and save up to $160 with a multi-month package. That's CEREBRAL, CEREBRAL.com/TMZ for mental health care that's accessible and affordable. Join CEREBRAL today. On to our next story. Ethan Slater, Ariana Grande's new guy. His estranged wife feels abandoned, she feels blindsided, she feels betrayed. And I think it's, I would too.
Right.
This guy who played SpongeBob, I actually think that his ex-wife or his estranged wife, Lily, was in the musical SpongeBob with him as well. I saw that she was like one of these minor characters.
I wonder if that's where they met.
Well, they were high school sweethearts.
Oh.
It makes the story even more like they were high school sweethearts. They had just welcomed a baby boy, and now this.
This is sort of her saying that she's heartbroken, I think kind of confirms what we all thought, because Ariana's married to Dalton, Ethan's married to Lily, and just had a baby, like you said, and then suddenly he and Ariana are together, and we're like, oh, they met on the set of Wicked and broke up their marriages.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we had already left our significant others, and this happened after that, and that damage control kind of thing. And now his estranged wife is like, no.
Yes.
Like, that's not what happened.
She said she had a couple days' notice before we all knew. So they're high school sweethearts. This might be the only relationship she's ever been in, potentially. I don't know if she dated before him. But this is like the love of her life. They've just welcomed a baby. And now a few days, he springs this news on her. A few days later, this new couple, her man is everywhere with one of the biggest stars in the world. I can't even begin to understand what that must feel like. It's
so weird. I just saw, we're trying to figure out the timeline of when Ethan and Ariana started dating, if there was an overlap, what it was. But in May, just a couple months ago, on Mother's Day, Ethan posted about what a great mother Lily was.
I know.
And Ariana Grande liked that post.
I know.
If you're her now, if you didn't know at that point, you must be so angry and feel so embarrassed.
Yeah.
And
Oh, man, I can't even begin to, because these guys are going to have to go on co-parenting for the next 18 years. And, I mean, if Ariana and Ethan end up happily together and they're, you know, that they found each other and this is just a long-lost love and finally, but it usually doesn't go that way, I think.
There's a few exceptions, but yeah, mostly it doesn't work out that way.
So, like, I don't know. This is just such a messy situation. I'm really interested in it because this isn't the guy I would have chosen for Ariana Grande.
But she's got no type. What guy would you choose for her? I mean, this guy and Pete Davidson and Big Sean and Mac Miller and Dalton Gomez,
I don't know.
She just likes what she likes.
She likes what she likes, and I think she's kind of like, it's almost a convenient thing if she's like around them and she's around this wicked guy for many months, then she falls for him. But once she's not around him and she's traveling for music, or maybe she's, you know, doing something else.
Right.
I don't know if the relationship will stay alive like that. Who knows? Yeah. Hopefully, but
well, she's had a lot of those situational romance. That's why she and Dalton got married, because they were a lockdown romance.
Yes.
And they were together in COVID, and then once COVID ended, moved on. Well, now she's situationally with Ethan on Wicked. They're filming this movie. You're right. What happens when the movie wraps?
I don't know. Probably not good things.
And if not, what happens with him and his estranged wife?
Definitely not good things.
Because they still have that child. So
they've still got that child.
There's no clean break there.
No. I mean, if I felt blindsided by the fact that Ariana's with this SpongeBob Ethan guy, imagine how his wife felt. Yeah. Like, she just must be like just going like malfunctioning, just like, how did this happen to me?
Yeah, and you don't even think, like, when he's doing the movie, you're like, well, I'm not jealous. He's SpongeBob. She's Ariana Grande. Right. What are the odds of that?
Right.
And here we are.
Insane, man.
Right.
What a crazy story. On to our final story. Neo is enjoying his single life. We saw him out in Miami walking around holding hands with two different women. Two different baddies, as I must say. They look pretty bad.
Is that what you say?
Yeah.
All right.
No, I don't actually say
I've never heard you say that.
I feel like Neo would say it, though.
Probably.
I actually spoke to him at LAX recently, and he told me that, you know, off the heels of a divorce, he was with a woman for a long time. What was her name?
Crystal Renee. For a very long time, they were together.
For a very long time, they were together. And now that they broke up, he was saying he was enjoying single life. He didn't want to settle down with just one woman. And he has proved that. He kind of strikes me as a bit of a Nick Cannon adjacent type guy who's into, you know, who's not into monogamy, basically.
But that's what's so weird, I think, what shocked people, because that was sort of what his whole thing was for so long.
Neo?
Neo, like one of his first big albums was called The Year of the Gentleman, and that was his thing, was that he was in this long relationship, and he was that romance R&B love guy that, you know, girl, it's you and me, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And now he was kind of a player, and that was never really what his music was, but maybe if that's who he is, embrace it now.
The best way to get lots of girls is by saying, look, I'm a gentleman. You know, you are the one.
Yeah, but once you've married and had 3 children with one of them, you can't just say that. It's not a pickup line anymore.
I didn't even realize. You got 3 kids?
They had 3 kids.
Oh, my God. So what are the kids thinking when they're looking at daddy holding hands with 2 different women?
I don't know. I'm not sure how old the kids are, but...
He's very suave.
He's very smooth. And that's the thing. Now that he is single, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's sort of like it's the Leonardo DiCaprio thing, where if you know what it is up front, you know, if you're a hot model hooking up with Leo, you know it's not going to be forever.
No, of course.
You have a good time for a while, you go on a yacht somewhere in Italy and enjoy your life, and then you go your separate ways. If Neo's like, that's what it is, then that's fine. But yeah, don't be, girl, it's forever. You can't be the smooth lover guy like that.
You don't think those girls on the boat hope that maybe they are the one to change Leo?
They can hope, but I don't think he ever promises them that's in any way on the table.
Totally.
You know what it's going to be up front.
But what does Crystal Renee think, like Neo's ex, when she sees this video of him out like cavorting with multiple women at the one time?
She can't like that.
No.
Because that's not who, because now you're like, oh, that's who he was the whole time.
Yeah.
And
were there ever any cheating rumors and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
They were...
Remember, they got remarried after a cheating scandal.
Okay.
So,
do you think you could ever be in a throuple, Eric?
Oh, God, no. That sounds like such an effort. It's so funny. Would you be into that?
No.
Because, you know, people think like, oh, that's the guy's dream is to have like multiple women. Especially like if you're dating, think multiple anniversaries, multiple birthdays.
Oh.
What a nightmare.
treating your woman right like multiple times. It's just, that sounds terrible.
Awful. Who wants to do that?
No, but you're right. No, it is. It's enough effort maintaining one relationship to try to maintain multiple, and like, you know, everyone's got different interests and likes and dislikes, and catering, because you kind of mold yourself to your partner so that it can be as harmonious as possible, and you both, like, you know, bounce off each other like that. To play different parts with multiple, I don't know how it could work. Do you think there'll ever be a time when there's one woman with multiple men, and that would be somewhat sort of like in a celebrity way? I'm talking, you know.
I don't know. That would be amazing, though.
Yes, because we got this, like Nick Cannon. Obviously, we got you know, Neo's kind of venturing into the sort of like I'm a multiple women type guy for life.
I don't know if most guys. I think guys wouldn't go for that.
I don't think guys would go for that.
I think the ego would get in the way. Like, Rihanna could have dated multiple guys at the same time if she wanted to, but I don't think she could, because none of the guys would have taken that.
No,
it's the male ego. I think you're just like, no, it's me.
Yeah, I know.
Because then you feel like, oh, I look like kind of a chump.
Yeah, exactly. All right, me and Eric are not going to be. It couldn't be me and you and Rihanna.
No,
that wouldn't work.
No.
that wouldn't work.
I don't think she would go for that. Either way, I don't think we have a chance there.
We're not her type.
I don't think either one's our type.
All right, mate. Thank you very much for joining us. All right, guys. We'll see you here tomorrow. Bye.